This week, the United Auto Workers announced that its members at each of the big three U.S. automakers had officially ratified their newly negotiated contract. According to the union, 64% of workers across Ford, Stellantis, and General Motors voted in favor of the deal won by the union after a 6-week strike. And in an enduring lesson about the power of labor unions, the new contract brought gains beyond UAW membership. At least half a dozen non-union automakers, Hyundai, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Subaru, and Volkswagen, all announced they would raise the pay of their U.S. auto workers, most roughly in line with the UAW contract. This cements the longest auto worker strike in 25 years as not only a huge success for the UAW, but a success for all auto workers across the industry, and a reminder of the impact a unionized workforce can have on the distribution between wages and profits. Joining me now for an exclusive interview, the man who led the union in that strike, Shawn Fain, President, United Auto Workers of America. Congratulations on this very successful undertaking. How stressed out were you about how long this might go?
Hey, Chris, thanks for having us, and it's an honor to be here. And I'll tell you, really wasn't stressed out about how long it takes because we knew we had the power of the membership behind us, and we had a membership because of our contract campaign and things we've done differently since we took over. Our membership was energized and ready to do whatever they had to do to get the right results. So it was just really a matter of the strategy and how we were going to exercise that and just fully use the power of the membership. And that's what gave us power at the bargaining table.
Obviously, United Auto Workers Democratic Union, you're elected by them. You serve as their representative in these contract negotiations, not at the places that aren't unionized. But I'm curious to hear your reaction to this kind of sort of spillover effect that we've seen at non-union automakers raising their wages as well.
Hey, we call that the UAW bump. That's what happens when we bargain good contracts. Bargaining and organizing go hand in hand. And, it's not a coincidence that within 3 days after us coming to tentative agreements at the big three, Toyota raised their wages by 11% and reduced their progression to 4 years. Then Honda followed suit with bigger raises and a 3-year progression. Then Hyundai jumped on board. Now Volkswagen's jumped on board. And just today, Subaru announced wage increases for their employees because they want workers to fear, having a union. So they're trying to, give them reasons not to join the union. But we know the members, those workers, they deserve their fair share. And that's going to be the next phase of this, is organizing those places and giving those workers their full share of the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, I want to get into that. Just to recap what you just said, those numbers that you just went through are very similar to the deal that you worked out. 11% pay increase immediately, a 25% pay increase over 4.5 years, cost of living adjustments reinstated, shortened time to the top wage from 8 years to 3 years. I know that's a big deal. Right to strike over plant closures and ending the 2-tier pay structure, which I know from conversations I've had was an enormous deal. When you talk about looking to other places, let's talk about Tesla, which is the largest EV manufacturer in America and non-unionized, and how important you see that for the future of your union.
Well, I think one of the best, another thing we've done with this agreement, I mean, when I took over, we were DOA when it came to the EV battery work. We were in a bad position. And, again, thanks to the power of the membership standing up, we were able to bargain some of that work under our master agreements, under our standards. We approached the White House and Congress about this issue, and our taxpayer dollars are helping fund that transition. So we expect to bring that standard up everywhere. And, the Elon Musk of the world that have the Teslas, they want to, that's how billionaires get their money. They do it on the backs of the working class people. And, they take the profits and other people go poor in the process of these people getting rich so they can, build rockets and fly themselves into outer space or whatever the hell it is they want to do with their spare time. And, workers are fed up in this country. Our fight's not just for the UAW. Our fight's for the entire working class. And I think that's why 75% of Americans supported us in this fight.
Yeah, let's talk a little more about that sort of transition. One thing you talked about your contract, I think, is up May Day 2020. Yeah. What year? 2028? No, it's a 4-year deal.
Yeah. It's be 4.5 years. So yes.
And the idea that other unions negotiate similar contracts with similar dates, so a sort of additive power to the threat of strike. What do you think the lesson has been from this year, not just for the United Auto Workers, but we've seen it with the Writers Guild, we've seen it with SAG-AFTRA, we've seen it with flight attendants, we've seen it across the labor movement and across working people in this country, the most amount of strike activity we've seen in a generation?
Look, working class people are fed up, union or not. And I think, COVID taught us a valuable lesson. People reflected on what's important in life. And what's important in life is not working 7 days a week, 12 and 16 hours a day, or working multiple jobs, scraping to get by, living paycheck to paycheck. People want a life, and that's not a life. And so I think that's what people are seeing now is the pathway to having a better life is by organizing and joining a union. And so I was very ecstatic we got May Day as an expiration date. And I look forward to not just unions in this nation, but in this world to align our dates. And that's one thing we learned in that process is we have the power. When we withhold our labor, no matter where people work, nothing moves. The billionaire class, the corporate class can build all the factories or businesses they want, but if there aren't people there to do the work, nothing's going to move. And so we have to harness that power, come together and organize and work together and stand together, and we'll take our lives back.
Shawn Fain is president of that United Auto Workers Union, which just a very successful strike, the largest and longest in 22 years. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Chris.